A former American soldier stuck in a brutal Japanese prison after the war, with no way home, finds a bloody path into the Yakuza underworld. From a despised outsider, Nick Lowell uses cold brutality, from smashing an enemy's head with a typewriter to cutting off his own fingers, to climb to the peak of power. Can a blue-eyed foreigner really become the godfather of a traditional Yakuza clan? The story begins with Nick, who is in prison and cleaning up. Suddenly, 5 burly men covered in tattoos step out of the bathhouse, glaring at him defiantly. When that group leaves, Nick goes inside and finds a man hanging with his hands tied tight. He shouts for the guards while struggling to rescue the man. Another inmate runs over to assist Nick in bringing the hanged man down to the ground. Strangely, Nick's chivalrous act receives no praise whatsoever. Immediately, the guards drag Nick and the prisoner who helped him to a corner and beat them savagely. The head guard says that he received a suicide note mentioning that a gang member would be released. Not understanding Japanese, Nick completely fails to grasp what the guard is saying. The commander becomes annoyed and ultimately orders Nick to be thrown into solitary confinement. In the cell, it turns out Nick is imprisoned with the very man he just saved from the noose earlier. This man introduces himself as Kiyoshi, a member of the Shiramatsu Yakuza clan. Kiyoshi then asks Nick for support and reveals to him a prison break plot. Kiyoshi plans to fake a suicide, so the guards have to transfer him to the hospital. There, Shiramatsu's men will come to rescue Kiyoshi. In return, Kiyoshi swears that if Nick gets out of prison, the Shiramatsu brothers will support him in the future. The plan is set. While the inmates are walking in the prison yard, Nick finds a stone. Afterward, he sharpens it so Kiyoshi can use it for his scheme. A few days later, back in the solitary cell, Kiyoshi prepares to use the sharp stone to stab himself and instructs Nick to keep him alive while calling the guards. Everything goes smoothly. Witnessing Kiyoshi's condition, the guards panic and sound the alarm. Summarizing this section quickly, Nick managed to get released from prison earlier than expected. He cuts his hair, shaves clean, and walks out of the prison with a new look. A man sitting in a car is waiting for Nick outside the prison camp, ready to drive him to the Shiramatsu headquarters in Osaka. Upon arrival, Nick is welcomed by high-ranking figures of the Shiramatsu clan, who thank him for his help. One of the Shiramatsu leaders then proposes he carry out a deal with an American partner. Nick accepts the job. That evening, after a Shiramatsu member gives Nick money to rent a place to stay, he stops by a gambling den and a bar. Here, Nick encounters a beautiful Japanese woman who immediately catches his eye, so he tips her very generously. The next day, Kiyoshi takes Nick to a factory to meet an American man named Anthony Panetti. Nick's task is to negotiate with Panetti regarding the metal factory and his business, because he had previously rejected Shiramatsu's offer. Panetti had received a negotiation offer from the rival Seizu clan from Kobe through an American middleman. Panetti does not welcome Nick's presence. He insults Japanese culture and the Yakuza, asserting he will not sell metal cheaper than the rate Shiramatsu offered, and kicks Nick out of the office. Nick realizes that empty words will not make the negotiation go smoothly, so he grabs a typewriter and smashes it directly into Panetti's head, forcing him to shut up and accept Shiramatsu's demands. After successfully completing the first mission, high-ranking Shiramatsu members, including Kiyoshi, take Nick to a pub. However, while they are raising a toast, the Seizu gang appears to question what they did to Panetti. A member of the Seizu gang continuously provokes Nick until his rage erupts, and he smashes a wine bottle on the man's head. The Shiramatsu members react instantly, pointing guns at the Seizu group, causing them to decide to abandon their intention to retaliate against Nick's action and retreat from the pub. Nick's action at the pub attracted the attention of Shiramatsu and simultaneously won the affection of Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi then gifts Nick a luxury apartment and expresses his desire for him to join the ranks of the Shiramatsu Yakuza. Kiyoshi invites Nick to deal with trouble at one of their bars, where the owner is planning to wrest control from Shiramatsu. When negotiations fail again, Nick slits the owner's throat and Kiyoshi finishes him off with a knife strike. Mission accomplished. Kiyoshi invites Nick to a nightclub owned by the Shiramatsu clan. There, the beautiful woman Nick had seen at the bar before is dancing with several men. Nick continues to watch this petite Japanese woman. Kiyoshi then pulls her off the dance floor and scolds her. He fears that Seizu gang members could bring weapons into the nightclub, endangering her. Afterward, Kiyoshi asks Nick to escort the woman home, revealing that she is Kiyoshi's younger sister, named Miyu. Nick obeys, but when they reach Miyu's door, she teasingly invites him inside. They become intimate, and Nick notices a Yakuza tattoo on Miyu's back. The next day, everything changes when Kiyoshi calls Nick for a new mission. He asks Nick to buy weapons from an American soldier. For this operation, Kiyoshi explains that the soldier must not know Nick and that this transaction involves the Shiromatsu clan, so Nick must carry it out himself. Nick immediately goes to the port where he is scheduled to meet the American soldier to exchange weapons. Instead of finding the soldier, he discovers a corpse, and immediately the Shizu gang swoops in. This gang intended to stop the purchase and rob Nick of the money. However, since Nick had hidden the money in the car beforehand, the Shizu group did not find it, which makes them furious and they decide to eliminate him. A Shizu member is ordered to kill Nick and threatens him to kneel down. Initially, Nick complies, but he quickly turns the tables using his skills, attacking the Shizu gang and killing 2 of their members. The Shiromatsu leader hears news of the chaos at the port. He immediately summons all clan members, including Nick and Kiyoshi. The Shiromatsu leader suspects a traitor revealed the weapons purchase plan. Nevertheless, Kiyoshi assures him that the $2 million Nick brought is still safe as it was hidden. Furthermore, the Shiromatsu leader accuses Nick of making a mistake by killing 2 Shizu men, which could spark a gang war. To prevent consequences, the Shiromatsu leader orders Nick to cut off 2 fingers, the ritual of Yubitsum, as an apology. Hearing this, Kiyoshi begs the Shiromatsu leader to allow him to cut off his own finger because he feels guilty for dragging Nick into this. The Shiromatsu leader agrees, and afterward, he sends the severed finger joints of both Nick and Kiyoshi to the Shizu clan as an apology for the deaths of the 2 members on that side. The scene shifts to a conversation between Nick and the Shiromatsu leader in a car. The conversation reveals that the Shiromatsu leader, who is also Kiyoshi's stepfather, suspects there is a Shizu spy planted in the clan. Afterward, the Shiromatsu leader takes Nick to a ceremony where he is solemnly welcomed and officially inducted as a member of the Shiromatsu clan. That evening, as they celebrate Nick joining, Nick steps outside the bar to talk to Kiyoshi. Nick informs Kiyoshi about his relationship with Miyu, which Kiyoshi initially does not approve of. Kiyoshi does not want his sister to marry someone in the Yakuza world because he fears for her safety, but Nick is resolute, swearing that no matter what happens, he will protect Miyu. Upon knowing Nick and Miyu have been intimate, Kiyoshi finally accepts their relationship and even congratulates Nick, because it means they are now brothers in the family. After being officially accepted into the Shiromatsu clan as a Yakuza member and receiving Kiyoshi's approval, Nick decides to get a large tattoo on his back, Irizumi, similar to Miyu's. While Nick is getting tattooed, Miyu stays by his side, explaining the meaning of the Yakuza's unique body art. In the following days, Nick fully integrates into the Yakuza lifestyle. One day, while riding the subway with Miyu, Nick spots a Shizu member who had tried to kill him at the port. The scene shifts to the Shizu group arriving at the Shiromatsu clan headquarters. They intend to propose a business deal, but the Shiromatsu leader feels insulted because Shizu did not send their leader but instead dispatched someone considered very junior. Although the leader appears disappointed, an officer named Orochi of the Shiromatsu clan persuades him to accept the proposal, but the Shiromatsu leader immediately brushes it off. That night, while Orochi and Kiyoshi are drinking, Orochi expresses dissatisfaction because the Shiromatsu leader did not follow his advice. Kiyoshi warned him, but it seems Orochi has been consumed by anger. This is particularly evident when Orochi returns home, where the Shiromatsu leader appears annoyed and refuses to see him. Orochi leaves the bar to look for Miyu. It turns out Miyu and Orochi had a romantic relationship in the past, and this time he tries to rekindle the old flame, but she firmly refuses. Orochi's anger reaches its peak, and in a rage, he slaps her while trying to harass her. The scene then shifts to a meeting between the Shiromatsu and Shizu clans at a sumo match. This time, the Shizu chairman himself approaches the Shiromatsu leader with a different proposal. This is not a business proposal, but an invitation for the Shiromatsu leader to retire and merge his clan into Shizu. The Shiromatsu leader refuses the offer, considering it an insult. He reminds the Shizu chairman that the Shiromatsu clan are wolves, not dogs locked in a pen. Before leaving, he warns the Shizu chairman to be careful on the way back to Kobe. Meanwhile, an American man unexpectedly greets Nick on his way home. That man is Paulie Bowers, an American soldier and Nick's former comrade who is on leave. Bowers seems surprised but happy to meet Nick, so Nick feels compelled to go with him. However, during the conversation, Bowers threatens to report Nick, revealing that Nick faked his death to escape a court-martial. Nick thinks quickly and invites him to his house. At the house, Nick offers Bowers a drink but then stabs him in the neck with a small knife, killing him. Afterward, Nick goes to Miyu's house. When Miyu opens the door, Nick is shocked to see bruises on her face. Angry, he demands to know who hurt her. She refuses to say but reveals that she is pregnant with Nick's child. Surprisingly, she asks him to leave. Nick leaves Miyu's house and goes to Kiyoshi's house to tell him about Miyu's pregnancy. Nick tells Kiyoshi that if Kiyoshi wants, he will leave the Shiromatsu clan. Kiyoshi is not angry but instead invites Nick inside. Then, he hands Nick 2 swords called Daisho, explaining that this pair of Daisho belonged to Kiyoshi's father. One is used to take another's life. The other is used to end one's own life. Kiyoshi then says that he has taken care of Miyu since childhood, and from now on he entrusts that responsibility to Nick. Nick picks up a Daisho sword and asks for help burying Bauer's body. On the other hand, at the Shizu headquarters, Orochi can be seen talking to the leader of this clan. It turns out Orochi has betrayed Shiromatsu and is planning to destroy the clan. The next day, the Shiromatsu leader goes with Kiyoshi and Nick to a tailor shop. When the leader does not step out of the fitting room, Nick follows and discovers a shop employee strangling the leader. Nick tries to save him, but Kiyoshi rushes in and, witnessing the scene, immediately shoots the employee dead. They rush to the car, but before they can escape, members of the Shizu gang ambush them. Nick and Kiyoshi fight back while trying to protect the leader. In the clash, a Shizu gang member shoots and kills Kiyoshi. Nick and the leader manage to escape and return to base, where they gather all remaining members of the clan. The leader reveals that there was a Shizu gang member in the car escorting them to the tailor, proving there is a traitor in the Shiromatsu clan. They decide to take revenge and declare war on the Shizu gang. Meanwhile, when Nick informs Miyu about Kiyoshi's death, she becomes panic-stricken. Nick and the remaining Shiromatsu members begin to systematically purge Shizu gang members. After Nick successfully threatens a high-ranking Shizu leader, it seems Shiromatsu is on the verge of winning the war. However, the Shizu leader sends a boy to the Shiromatsu headquarters with a message to end the war. He invites the Shiromatsu clan to negotiate at a neutral area without guns. The Shiromatsu leader agrees and sends Nick along with other members to the port. Unexpectedly, the Shizu chairman arrives along with Orochi, who admits to having betrayed Shiromatsu. The Shiromatsu leader, who had always regarded Orochi as his own son, forgives him and approaches, asking him to return to Shiromatsu before it is too late. As they embrace, Orochi stabs the Shiromatsu leader to death. The Shiromatsu members, surrounded by weapons, cannot intervene and can only stand by helplessly and watch. Orochi then declares that the Shiromatsu clan is finished and offers to spare Nick's life if he leaves Miyu. Nick refuses Orochi's offer and prepares to attack, but is shot in the leg by a sniper. At the same time, the police raid and burn down the Shiromatsu headquarters. That night, Nick sneaks into Miyu's house, which is being guarded by the Shizu gang, intending to take her away. Afterward, he goes to the Shizu headquarters with the Daisho sword gifted by Kiyoshi, boldly demanding the Shizu gang allow him to kill Orochi. After facing Nick, Orochi throws the Daisho sword back to him, declaring that he will not fight Nick because he is just an outsider, Gaijin, and will never truly be a part of the Yakuza. In a moment of impulse, Nick uses the sword to slash off Orochi's head. Surprisingly, the Shizu leader stops another member who was about to shoot Nick. Instead, he tells Nick to go home because he has avenged Shiromatsu by killing Orochi. Nick complies and leaves the Shizu headquarters. The outsider ends with the scene of Nick arriving at the apartment where he hid Miyu. She hugs him tightly, and another Shiromatsu Yakuza guarding the apartment bows to Nick, signaling that he may be the next leader of the Shiromatsu clan. What do you think about this movie? Thank you, and see you again.